What's up, people? It's Niche Girl 30 here, and yes, in the background, it is SmackDown. It is a Friday night. I have a different hat on, but a same jogging outfit. And yeah, the reason why I have a TV set on because I have two new puppies in my house, and they seem to start crying when there's not a lot of noise. So that's the reason why I have the TV set on. So my apologies for that. But anyway, this is my mini Q&A number 14. And this is 3 new people that I actually do have questions from. Thank you guys for your questions. And from now on, I'm going to give you guys some props for sending me questions at the end credits of every Q&A that I do. I am actually going to post the names of the people that have sent me questions just because I love you guys and thank you so much for sending me questions. Okay, these questions are from I Love Watermelon 525. The first question is, when you get what do you do when you're stressed and have a bad day? Usually I either go and sometimes I actually go and binge on my favorite sweets. My favorite sweet and my weakness is York peppermint patties as well as anything dark chocolate. Sometimes I binge out. Most of the time I actually either exercise, occasionally jog, put my headphones on and just go out and have a nice jog. Sometimes I go out and ride, or sometimes just play video games. Usually I play a fighting game, something that will kind of take the edge off. That's pretty much how I am. But moving on from there, what was the worst nightmare you've ever experienced in your life, and can you tell what happened in it, please? Honestly, as much as I really do want to talk about this nightmare, only 3 people that I know of no, probably 2 people that I know about this nightmare. It was probably the worst nightmare I've ever experienced, and it still scares me to this day. And the only person that knows is God and my best friend. And my ex. Those are the only 3, 2 humans and 1 God. They're the only ones that know about my dream, and I really don't want to bring it back up. It was just too horrible. With the rest, okay, number 3, would the wrestling business have been how would the wrestling business been if Hulk Hogan had turned heel in '88 instead of in '96? I honestly don't think it would make any difference because honestly, well, Hulk Hogan, I don't know. I really don't think it would make any difference. I think he either would have been an excellent heel or excellent face. Either or he would have set the tone for what. He set the tone for what wrestling is. He probably wouldn't have been a good guy. I don't think he would have had as much merch as he would have back in the day, like his own shows and vitamins and stuff. But I still think he would have been a great wrestler. He just wouldn't have been as branded out as he is now. Let me see. Your next question for me is, what do you think of the stereotype that all black people only like fried chicken, grape soda, and watermelons? Do you agree or disagree strongly in advance if I offended you with this question? Look, all I know is I really don't consider it a stereotype because let's face it, black people do like fried chicken. Not all black people, but black people do like fried chicken. I'm not a big fan of grape soda. I like peach, but watermelons are freaking good. Anybody likes watermelons. It's sad that it's only targeted only to black people, but how can I hate on that? I like watermelons, I like fried chicken, and I occasionally like grape soda. But for real, I like watermelon with a little bit of salt on it. Sorry. I don't really consider that much of a stereotype as it is freaking good. But moving on from there, what handheld video games console have you owned? I own the Game Gear, and that's the only console that I ever had. Okay, moving on to your next question. Have you ever played Metal Gear Solid games? No, I haven't, but I've actually watched other people play it. I just couldn't get into the whole storyline. It just didn't make any sense. It went from one great storyline to another great part of the story to something that's completely confusing. I'm like, But Metal Gear is always going to be a good game. Who doesn't like Solid Snake? Thoughts on Rey Mysterio? He's retiring, probably this year, and passing the torch down to Sin Cara. Okay, the next question is coming from King Romeo. What is your favorite talk show? Conan O'Brien. I like Conan O'Brien since the 90s. My ex got me into it, and I still to this day watch Conan O'Brien because I love Triumph and Insult Comic Dog. If you could be in any video games, which games would you be on? Either a beat 'em up or a fighting game or an adventure game. Either or. It would be either an adventure game, a fighting game, or a beat 'em up. I would say strategy, but that's just far too much thinking. I mean, I'm an analytical person, but there's sometimes I have to shut my brain off. So those are pretty much my three answers. Um, what do you see in Taylor Swift's future? I think Taylor Swift is going to definitely mature. She's 22 years old. She's very young. She has a very old spirit, but she's still going through the motions like any other 22-year-old girl. Um, I think she's going to, her future is bright, but I think she's going to grow up a little. Moving on from there, do you like UFC? Yeah, I like UFC. I actually, I'm a big fan of martial arts, especially Muay Thai, because Muay Thai is definitely devastating, and the fact of how they execute it, I think is absolutely perfect. Well, really not so much perfect, but just it's awesome. It's awesome to watch. Um, what actors and actresses will become good wrestlers if trained properly? Uh, Brad Pitt. I have to say, Brad Pitt will probably be a good one. Um, oh gosh, what's the guy that played Batman? Not the old Batman, not the classic Batman, but the latest Batman. I can't remember his name at this point. If anybody remembers the name of the current Batman, please leave him in the comment section below, because for some reason I can't really remember. But I think that he would actually be a great wrestler. Besides, he played a boxer and he actually won an Oscar for it. So I think that it would actually work. Um, Bing Rames and Vin Diesel. Yeah, I would have to say Ving Rhames and Vin Diesel. They will probably be great ones. God rest his soul, Michael Clark Duncan. He would have been a great wrestler. Besides, his best friend was The Rock. Great guy to train with. So those are the guys that I think that will probably be great wrestlers. Actresses, not really so many. They're all wafy. They will probably break. Um, Maybe Queen Latifah? I don't know, but not so many women. Okay, my final set of questions come from Leon. If I say this wrong, please, I apologize for that. Um, I guess it's Leon Pascaliote, if I said it right. Pascaliote. I think it's Pascaliote. I hope I said it right. Um, what if The Rock goes? Okay, what if The Rock goes to TNA in 2014 along with Shawn Michaels on the same episode? What would happen? Number one, why would Shawn Michaels be over there? Because he's retired, and I really don't think The Rock will step a foot in TNA because he's far too loyal to the WWE. Um, will Maria Kanellis return to WWE this year or next year? I don't think Maria would return. She really has no reason to. The Divas division is kind of sucking right now. What is the last time you moved into a new house, and how was your experience? I have to say that I moved into this house 2 years ago from my parents' home in Atlanta. I actually moved from my apartment in Florida to my parents' home, stayed there for a little bit, and then I moved here. So it was a very unique experience. I really have not, it's been a minute since I've actually left home again. And it was a great experience. It was actually really new. It didn't really kick in until a month later. That's how I am. I'm pretty late on things like that. But ever plan on moving soon? At this point, no. But I have to say, in the future, I do have plans for my future, and maybe someday I would have to move. But honestly, right now I'm pretty comfortable where I am. But there will be a time that I may have to move again, and I'll be all set for that. Besides, I don't think I have a lot of furniture to move out, so it would be a lot easier for me to move. Thoughts on Justin Bieber? Why is he famous? So don't get it. And the fact that he does kind of look like a chick. What would happen if instead of Swagger, it was CM Punk who got arrested for DUI and had weed on him? How shocking would that have been? No, that really wouldn't have been shocking if it was CM Punk, because CM Punk has already had a really checkered past, especially when it comes to alcohol. So it really wouldn't be, a huge surprise if CM Punk actually did get caught with weed on him, as well as having a DUI. But Jack Swagger, I wouldn't be surprised if that man is under a lot of stress, because now he's becoming a lot more popular as it is. Not to mention it's the fact that he's literally he plays a very prejudiced character, which has to be stressful. If you're the polar opposite of who your character is, it'll be really hard to stay in that role. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is under stress. Not that I'm condoning what he did, but I understand exactly if that's the reason why it happened in that way. Um, what did you do on 9/11 or 9/11/01? I'm gonna be real. I was at home. I was in school at the time, and I was at home. And just when you saw those towers, I mean, just when you saw that, I saw that second plane go into the tower, and literally all of your problems that you've had for that day, for the rest of that month, completely vanished, and your heart went out to the people in New York that were witnessing this. It was a blessing from God that my dad did not get on that plane to fly to New York, because he had to go to New York and it got canceled. Thank God it did. But my heart really went out to the people that had to go through so much suffering when they were in New York around that time. And it literally brought a lot of people together. And I have to say that you really, I mean, it really shows how much that Americans come together for tragedy. Even though we live and have separate lives, and even though in America we kind of sort of do encourage individualism, we came together as a nation that day. We came together, we prayed together, we cried together, we supported each other as Americans. And I have never been more proud to be an American that year. Even though it was so hard to watch that happen and even see the footage that I saw. I have never been more proud to be an American that day. It wasn't even about race, color, or creed. It ended up being that way later, unfortunately. But at that time, it was all about people coming together as one and trying to support each other through tough times. And that makes you proud to be an American. And I'm still proud to be an American. Um, what was the greatest moment of your entire life? I have to say, I haven't achieved a great moment yet, but I have had moments in my life to where it was kind of hard to deal with it, and I have to say I have came a long way. I haven't necessarily achieved the greatest moment of my life, but I can say that the greatest experience of my life was finally seeing my nephew for the first time when he was born. And I have to say that was, and actually holding him was probably one of the best moments ever. I have to say, because I've never held a baby that small, and because I've always shunned from that. But actually holding him just was probably one of the best moments I've ever experienced. And thank you guys so much for the for the questions for this Q&A. I will definitely put you guys on the credits, because thank you guys so much for sending me so many questions, and it was under the 10 it was under 10 questions. So you guys are awesome for that. But thank you guys so much. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.